Hey folks, Segasonicfan here, and if you've watched my videos, and you are watching my videos, you're going to learn that I am becoming quite a big fan of the Worx tool brand. I have a lot of their tools now, and I have some of their MakerX tools. I would say their MakerX tools are definitely a grade below their other product line, but this particular one is pretty darn great. This is their Zip Snip. They actually make two of these, and they have the same name, which is quite confusing. This one requires an extra hub that goes to a battery, which is annoying at first that you have to buy that extra hub. But once you get it, it's an extremely useful tool. And because it has a hub, it doesn't have the weight of a battery. The tool's pretty hefty, actually. Weighs a good amount. I haven't put it on my scale yet, but it's a couple pounds, I'd say, at least, and it packs a punch. The RPM is preset. I forget, it's like 500 RPM or something. So you can't change the speed, and you also can't access the blade other than to change it. I haven't even looked into how it accomplishes that yet. But I will say this is a great tool for it. What I primarily use it for, what it's primarily I think advertised for, is cutting cardboard. And you might think, well, what am I going to cut cardboard for? Well, first off, the obvious thing, which is when you have stuff shipped to you, you have lots of cardboard, it doesn't all fit in the recycling bin. So being able to cut it into pieces like butter, and I do mean like butter, this thing cuts cardboard. It is the easiest thing in the world. Very, very cool. I've also used it to cut shelf liner and silicone mats. It's really good for like any thin material that you want to do clean cuts on. I also use it to cut cardboard to fix the back of a picture frame where the cardboard was a little bit too thin. And so, yeah, it's one of those tools where I didn't have immediate knowledge that I'd be using it a ton. And I haven't been using it as much as some of my other tools. But when I need it, it's just like, wow, I really need it. And it comes into handy. Really comes in handy. So why am I taking it apart? Well, A, to learn about things, and B, the one thing I really don't like about it is the safety here. Like, why does this tool need a safety? It's got a low RPM blade that you can't adjust the speed on, and you literally can't get your finger in there. Maybe it's for child-proofing, I don't know, but having to hold this down and squeeze for a low power, I mean, it's 20 volts, but it's not, not necessary, in my opinion. So I'm taking it apart to learn a little more about it. And I'm also taking out that feature. So how do you take this apart? I figured while I was doing that, I might as well make a video for you all, because I take things apart a lot, and I have sort of a sixth sense for it these days. Sixth sense. And I figured I'd give a couple little clues. So number one is this part just unscrews off really easy, which is kind of nice. One thing I like about Worx tools is, at least so far, they seem to come apart pretty easy. This just clips off. You see that little ridge right there? Is what it's clipped onto. So this just pries off. You can use a little flathead X-Acto. I might even be able to do it with your fingernail. So that comes right off like so. And then there's two screws here. And then there's two nice quality rubber fillers here that you take out, and with those I just use some needle nose tweezers to pry those out. And then you've got two screws there, two screws there. You can kind of start here, and then it'll kind of clip out. It'll kind of pop out because the bottom has clips, and then you're on the inside. One thing that I was delighted to see is that the third pin on this connector is not connected. So you've got just what is most likely a positive and negative power rail. That's going to your motor, your switch, and then your motor. As simple as can be, which is really nice because there's no digital handshake happening on that third pin. And you know what that means? If I want to, I can create an inline PWM circuit to actually change the speed of this motor if I want to. What I am curious to know is if the hub actually changes the voltage at all, or if this is preset at 20 volts. I kind of doubt this is preset at 20 volts. I have a feeling this probably makes for a lower voltage. But you know what? Instead of guessing, let me hook it up to my meter, to my hub in my meter, and just find out. I just realized that I have both those things right here, and might as well show them on camera, since making a video just removing that safety feature probably isn't as interesting. This is the hub and the battery. And I apologize, I'm a little close to the camera here, but I'm kind of running out of space in this particular table. And there's a clip here, you unclip it, and there's your hub, there's your 20 volt power share battery. This works with almost all their tools, which is awesome. This hub works with all their MakerX stuff. As I said, their MakerX stuff is kind of a grade below. I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest. It's just a couple of the tools like this one are really nice. This knob is cheap, and I believe it's an analog potentiometer. It's a cheapo potentiometer. Most of their stuff, like I said, is made very nicely. This particular thing is not. I have a feeling like the MakerX was probably designed by a different engineering division at their company that was sort of tasked with, making some cheaper products, maybe in a different country. The engineers for MakerX just seem very different from the engineers in their other products. Maybe I'm just going off on a limb. However, I will say the plastic, like this particular one, is really nice. The plastic is super high quality. I don't know if it's ABS or not. I guess I can look. It says PA6-GF30, which is probably a part number, but I have to see if it's, but it's really good stuff. And nice quality motor, big chunky switch in there. It's a nice kind of cherry reed style switch. The gear mech looks totally decent with a nice roller bearing there. So yeah, nothing to complain about for sure. The advertising for the hub though is a little screwy. They don't make it super clear that you need to buy this other thing. Anyway, enough of the review here. Let me go ahead and get that plugged in. You hit the power button like so. And yeah, that third pin, obviously, my guess is that's going to be used for the a 5-volt control signal. By the way, one other thing that's a MakerX tool is this guy, which is a glue gun, and the LED actually turns green when it's ready, which is super cool. It's a surprisingly nice glue gun. I was a little bit on the fence about its weird kind of the way it's not like a gun, like most glue guns. Kind of goes like that. But I've actually been using it a ton, and I love it. So, can't say it hasn't paid for itself, because it basically has so far. But I'll be doing a lot more kind of reviews and possible teardowns of Worx stuff as I get more of it. Although the teardowns so far are just my usual improvement modifications, not because anything's breaking. I only had one tool that's been broken so far, and it's because it arrived broken. I bought it used, and it was already damaged by somebody else that was probably using it incorrectly. But we'll see. We'll see how much these stand the test of time. But so far, so good. So I'm going to go ahead and place my probes on the output first, just to get an idea of what that's like. And oh yeah, it's 20 volts for sure. And so yeah, I gotta be careful that I don't touch the sleeve of this while I'm probing it. 20 volts will make for a nasty short. So interesting, this blinks when you plug it in. And my guess is it can sense the load. Maybe it senses the capacitor. Interesting. I wonder how it knows that. But if we go and check the capacitor, the capacitor is rated at 35 volts. That's another indicator that it's probably a 20. And yeah, it's 20. 19.46 is what I'm getting on my meter. So yeah, okay, that makes more sense then. The motor was chosen, and yeah, the motor was probably selected for its speed, which means it's essentially operating at the top speed already. Interesting. I wonder if this company, they must have spent a fair amount of time in the motor selection to get a motor that was exactly the speed they wanted at 20 volts. But this comes out nice and easy. I would need to put a piece of tape even just over that opening once I take this out. So the way this works, of course, works. Increase the brightness here a bit for y'all. Is when you push on this button. Oh, you can see the actuator if you want. When you push on this button, it makes it so that the it's just mechanical plastic movement that makes it so the switch can depress all the way. So if you take this out with the spring, there's no magic to it. Now the button can go down all the way. No problem at all. And yeah, it looks like you can there's a couple more screws in here behind the blade and all that. So that's really easy to get to. And it looks like I can probably take off this frame if I want to and use it as kind of a janky circular saw if I wanted to. The blade isn't made for that though. It doesn't have any teeth. It is, by the way, also supposed to be kind of self-sharpening, whatever that means. Maybe because the blade rubs against the... I don't know. I don't know how that works. Feel free to leave a comment if you know about self-sharpening tools or if it's a gimmick, if it's a marketing gimmick or not. But it's good stuff. Good amount of grease on there. And yeah, I'm just surprised there's not a digital handshake happening with that 3-pin adapter. So the third pin then is more than likely, I'm almost positive, that's just going to be a 5-volt PWM line for because I have their rotary tool that actually uses that. And I will say the rotary tool, the pocket-sized kind of rotary tool, which has typical 1/8 inch adapters it can take like a Dremel, doesn't go slow enough in its its lowest setting, which is insane to me because the reason you want to use that is. Here, I'll just show it to you. I have it here since I'm talking about it anyway. This guy. And the thing about this guy is, even though it's 20 volts, which is higher voltage than their 8-volt model. Oh, geez. I gotta make sure I turn this off. I'm gonna shock myself. Don't be like me, kids. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and remove the battery as well. Okay. Yeah. 20 volts will mess up your day a little bit. Okay. Plug this back in, turn it back on. And yeah, it's not happy when you... Alright, so this is the knob that controls it, right? And let me not be the first to say that this is janky. This is one of the only tools I don't like from Worx. You see, if I'm turning this knob, it goes what, like 1/8 of a rotation before it even engages? No engagement, no engagement, no engagement, and then it just clicks on. That's bad design, folks. Maybe there's a reason for that I just don't know yet. But I can't imagine what it is. What that should do is it should send that PWM pulse, which is, I'm almost positive what's happening on that third line. And that PWM pulse, should have a duty cycle that has a gradation from 0 to 100 mapped to this knob, which, by the way, should be a rotary encoder anyway, and not a potentiometer. There's no reason for it to be analog, but except for maybe some budget thing. So maybe at some point if I care enough, I'll upgrade this. But the reason why it bothers me so much is because this tool has a very small motor. So even though it's 20 volts, it doesn't even come close to approximating the torque of a real portable, what I would call a real portable rotary tool. Like, say, my Dremel 800 or my other Worx rotary tool, which, by the way, is fantastic. And you should get one of these tomorrow. But you see it's got like double the size of the motor, or at least 30% bigger, And this is a fantastic tool. So I was looking forward to this one though because of the analog knob control, which I do kind of miss, which the other one doesn't have. It's a digital control. But like I said, it's just janky. And so, yeah, you know, it's cool if you're getting like a $20 or $30 toy, which you can find these sometimes for that cheap. But I think for full retail price, it's just, oh man, I would be upset if I paid like $80 for this or $90 for this. It's totally ridiculous. So yeah, I kind of want to take this apart and learn how the handshake's happening, or if it's just a PWM to, I imagine it's just going to be a PWM to a motor controller in here, probably like a $2 motor controller. And brushless motor. I love how everything says that like it's like a big deal. Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at some point, not anytime soon, but at some point I'll tear this hub open and see what's going on there. But yeah, like I said, this tool is fantastic. This is the only tool I don't like. The glue gun, fantastic. And there's also a soldering iron tool, and this one's okay. This one's like, I don't like that the display is an old school it's not even backlit, so it's like really old school. It's like the kind of thing you would see in a Tiger Electronics toy or something. But it works, it gets hot, and it's a portable soldering iron. It sure is a lot better than those like butane ones that you find. So if you already have the hub and the battery for this, and you got the glue gun, might as well get the soldering iron, have a portable soldering iron on hand, which is pretty useful around the house. But yeah, I would not like say that these are tools you should get if you're trying to build an actual like SMD workbench or something. You're trying to have like a good quality workbench. But they're for the soldering iron, I mean. The only tool that I would say, the two tools that I would say just are really great for your workbench though, is this guy, which is not really a workbench tool. It's a cardboard cutter, vinyl cutter, and the glue gun. The glue gun is the one that I actually use on my workbench all the time. So anyway, that's it for this video, more or less. I don't think there's too much else to show. I'm going to put this back together just so you can see. Oh, let's not do that. Let's not crush the wire there. That's not how we want to do things. This thing really snaps easily. It's got these are the snaps down here, the locking snap. Good quality plastic though. Whoever, I wonder if anyone's gonna ever watch this video that works for the company. If you work for the company and you did the plastic molding design work on this, my hat's off to you, sir or madam. You are incredibly good at what you do. The plastics on these are just fantastic. So yeah, that's gonna be a lot better. I'm gonna put, honestly, it'll look a little janky, but I think just a piece of electrical tape over that. I don't really care that much what it looks like. Just don't want dust or whatever, you know, debris getting in there. And plug this back in, turn it on. That's a lot nicer. It's gonna make cutting cardboard much easier. And look, Ma, you can't hurt my finger. I'll be fine. What happens if I turn it off and try to get my pinky in there? Can I get my pinky? Oh, my pinky might fit. Don't do that. But, maybe my ring finger. Maybe. It's a toothless blade, though. How much damage can you do? Anyway, if you want to be unsafe like me, you can take out the safety on your Worx tool. Don't do this with any of their big tools. I'm certainly not doing it with the chainsaw. However, I am going to do this with their water pressure cleaner, the Hydro Shot, which I love. But oh my God, it has another one of these. And seriously, how are you going to hurt anybody shooting water? It's water. Cleaning your car with it. Anyway, I shouldn't knock it. It's safety. It's good to be safe. And this one is a blade, so it makes some sense. The water pressure thing, I don't know about. But yeah, anyway, I'm just rambling now. Hope this video helped you. I love hearing from folks. Feel free to leave a message for me below. And I just make these videos for fun. Don't really care if you like or subscribe or any of that nonsense. Just have fun, hack, build things. This is Segasonicfan, signing out.